Welcome to Test Room, your go-to hub for professional knowledge sharing. In the previous video, we covered the basics of Selenium, its architecture, and how to set up Selenium Robot Framework libraries to open various browsers. So in this video, we will discuss on different types of web element, understand the common types of web elements on web page, such as buttons, text field, drop boxes, label, checkboxes, etc. Then we'll see the type of action that we can perform on these web elements using Selenium, such as clicking, typing, selecting, and sending the keyboard actions and things like that. Then we will try to understand the different Selenium locators, learn about locator strategies such as the ID, class name, XPath, CSS, and things like that. And later in the session, we will try to do some hands-on practice using the locators. So since this topic is a little bit vast, I want to divide this session into two. In the first session, I will help you in locating the elements using ID, name, and class path. And in the second session, we will talk more on the XPath and CSS selector. Let us try to understand different types of web elements commonly used in a given web page. There are several excellent demo websites available that provide varieties of web elements to explore and making them ideal for practicing and learning how to interact with these elements using the test automation tools such as the Selenium. And we will go through these websites and try to access the different web element and also try to see the properties of different web elements. So there are three important sites that provide these facilities. The one of them is the web sample website from Tosca. So I will put this link into my description section. Later you can use this. This is a website from Tosca, demo website. So yeah, so you can go and explore different kind of web elements and their properties here. Another good website is from Lambda Test. Here he provides um, the list of the web elements that you can explore and you can try to interact with them using Selenium. So there is one more website which is called as an Heroku apps, which is also a good website to explore the different types of web elements. These are all the demo websites. So here you can yeah, you can go into a drop down list. You can go to checkboxes, context menus, the file upload and download menus, the frames, the hovers, and things like that, right? So these are some of the best sites that we can use for understanding the different kind of web elements. Okay. First one is text fields and text areas. These are the input field typically used for the user input. It basically takes the inputs from your keyboards. The typical example could be the field to enter your username and password, or in case of Google, right? If you go to the Google, this is particular field, right, where you can type something and try to search. Okay, in our demo website, this is called as a text field, where it accepts the input from the keyboards. Okay, and yeah, we will go and basically inspect and try to see the property of this text field. And the text area is similar to the text field, but it is the height of this box is little bigger, where you can type the multi-line text. Okay, it's a multi-line input for longer text such as the comment, descriptions, or for writing the email body. Okay, when you in terms of its properties, the text field will always start with the tag as an input, and this will have the attribute called type. But in case of text area, the tag will be text area. Okay, So if you want to try to see the properties of these elements in a web page, you will have to go and inspect these elements. Okay, so how do we do this? We will go and right click on the inspect button. It basically shows up an window. Under the element tag, you can find the properties. It basically loads the content of web page into a tree kind of structure. This is called as an DOM structure. I already created a video regarding a DOM. You can go and watch this video. It will be very useful in understanding the different elements, how the web elements are basically transferred into a tree-like structure, and what kind of the API the DOM exposes to interact with these elements, right? So there is a nice video I have made. Please go and watch that. And if you go to the element tab, you can see the entire tree structure of the of all the elements that are present in this web page. Okay, so if you want to inspect a particular element, if you want to go a particular element of your interest, then you'll have to use this tool, select tool, and then go and click the element of your interest. Here it is an text box. As I told, this text box is always starts with the tag called as an input, and it will have an type attribute. Here the type attribute is text. Next one is button. Button are the elements which triggers the action. If you click the button, there will be some action that is happening. Okay, so it is used to trigger the actions like submitting a form or initiating a process. Okay, so for example, in this web page, the request for demo and the next is an example for button. Usually button will always start with the tag called button, or it can also start with the tag as an input. If it starts with the tag as an input, then there will be a type. It will have a type as an attribute which generally holds a value as an button or a submit. Okay, let us go and inspect the button and try to see its properties. Let us go and click here. Next, if you see the next, it started with a tag called button, and it has got an ID, and also there is an action that is being associated with this button. Okay, uh, if you want to do this, basically we can go to the console, and correctly highlighted element is a $0. You can access this element over the $0, and then you can basically give $0, then you can use the click action, right? Yeah, see, it performed the action. Now we have two buttons, previous and next. Now I want to click on a previous button, so I can perform some action on it. Okay, and I have to highlight that. Now it is highlighted. I can go to console and perform the click action. It will bring back to the original screen. So it brought back the original screen. Okay, this is how uh, button is being displayed in the tree like structure, right? And it has the property called property. It always starts with the tag button. Sometimes it can also start with the tag called the input. In case if it has an input as a tag, then it will have a type as a property indicating the value as button or a submit. Next one is a link or an anchors. These are the text that carries the hyperlinks. Okay, example is a request demo here, and also like visit support and vehicle insurance application. Okay, these are all the text that contains the hyperlink. Okay, uh, it redirects the user to other pages or the sections in the same page. When we click, you will be taken into a new page uh, by itself, or a particular section in the same page. So it always starts with the tag A, and it contains an attribute href. So attribute href carries a value which specify the redirection uh, action, right? Which specify the where to redirect. Okay. So let us go and Yeah, let us go and check this particular link. Yeah, sorry. Let us go and check this particular link, visit support. If you say it start with the tag as A and it has got href showing the link when we click where it needs to navigate. Okay, this is the property of the link or an anchor. Drop down and select boxes. Drop down menus used to present a multiple options in a compact form. Okay, so when you click this drop down menu, it will bring out a list with the pre-filled values. Okay, and the single select and multi select drop downs allows either the single or multiple selections. Okay, so you can select there are different kinds of drop down boxes where you can have single select, it takes only one value, okay, at a time, or there is also a multi select drop downs which takes the multiple values at a given time. Okay, so if I come to this particular website, see, these are called as an drop down boxes. Okay, so when I click on this particular icon, it basically shows me the list of free filled values. Okay, so here I can this is a single select because I can select only one values, but there are some cases where you can select the multiple values. Okay, what its property says, it has got a select, it starts with a select nested with the option items. Let us go and see the property of this particular drop down box, and if you see, it has got a select under which we have multiple options. The multiple options are representing the values that are already free-filled as part of this particular drop-down. It can have a Audi, it can have a BMW, Ford, and things like that. And if I basically see this option with the text Audi, option with the text BMW, Ford, etc., etc. Okay, they always contain a select followed by the options nested with the options. That is how these the drop down lists are basically designed. If you go to this Lambda website, there is something called jQuery select dropdown, and it basically demonstrates the drop downs with single values and multiple values. For example, this is a single value where I can give the single value, right? And this is with multiple values. I can select one value, again I can select the another value. Okay, and this is also like single value, and this is also a single value. Okay, so let us go and see the properties, inspect the properties. If I go to this particular element, yeah, this has a span, and yeah, if I go here, see under the span you have this one UL, under the UL you will have the lists. Okay, this is how it is designed. Okay, this is a different property that I told here, and the design is something like this. You have a span under which you have a UL, under which you will have the list item, the LI items. Okay, and if I go and check this one, it is directly on a, again I guess, right? So this is again under a span under which UL, again under which list. Okay, this is how the yeah, you can have a drop down with the single selection or a drop down with the multiple selections. Okay, the earlier case we saw the drop down as an select with the option stack. Here we are seeing the drop down as starting with the span under which there will be UL element, under which there will be the list of items. So hope you understood this. Checkboxes enable the user to select multiple options independently. You can select a single or a multiple choices. Okay, it always starts with the tag as an input with the type as checkbox. Let us go and search about checkboxes and click on here, And these are the different checkboxes. You have a single checkbox here, and you have a multiple checkboxes. I can select multiple items. Okay, these are disabled for a time being. I cannot select them. Only you can select these two, and I think here I can select all of them. Right? I can do a check all, uncheck all. Okay, these are the different kinds of checkboxes that we can see here. And let us go and try to inspect their properties. And if I see them, so if you see under a division, okay, let us view the division. We will go directly to the input. Input of type, it is checkbox, right? Input of type checkbox. And yeah, so label is option one. Okay, and there are multiple of them, right? This is the second one. These are all grouped under, yeah, these are all grouped under division. When I expand division, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And upon under the division, there is one more division under which we have the checkbox. Okay, and let us go and examining the properties of this one. Yeah, see, this is also a kind of checkbox, and there are two checkboxes which are basically disabled. Yeah, so the you see the action, it is disabled here. Okay, and there are for others too, there is no other extra attribute that is been added. But here, if you go to this disabled, you can say it is giving the state as disabled. Okay, let us go and inspect this one. And now I will do a check operation. Let us try to see if there are any changes that is happening. I did not see any change that has happened. Okay, so this is how the test checkbox will be represented as an elementary, right? So you can also go to native and perform the action. um, I think if you go here, I see dollar zero dot check, is it click, check the visibility. Yeah, it is true. And for this, if I go, yeah, that will also give visible as true. Okay, this is how basically it is been represented here. Okay. You have seen checkbox can help you to select the multiple options, but whereas radio boxes allow only to select the single selection from the group of options. If instead of this checkbox, if it would have been a radio box, then it will not allow you to check all of them at a time. You can check only one. Okay, let us go and see the radio button. Let us click on the radio button and see these are the two options I have. So I at a time I can select only one. I cannot select two of them, right? I can select one of them. Here also I can select only one of them, and here also it is disabled, and here also at a time I can select one of them. Let us go and inspect the property. If you see under label, there is an input type called radio. There is an input type called radio. This always starts with input with a type called radio. So input is a tag, type is an attribute. This is how the radio box is been um, shown as part of the elementary with the properties. But you have to remember the properties of radio button. You can select only only one item at a time. Okay, so that is the property of radio button. Now let us go and understand what are images. Images are the element that display the visual contents. Like sometimes we can click them because sometimes it also contains the hyperlink. with an attribute called href, or sometimes they are the static images showing the logos or company logos, or in case if you have an e-commerce website, it can show the product images, right? The mobile phones, or the if it is a sports shop, it can show the sports item, shoes and things like that, the images of the product elements. Okay, by default it has a property called image with the source specify from where exactly the location storage of this particular image. Okay, I think from my experience this should be an image. Let us go and try to inspect that. Yes, this is an image with an ID as a Tricentis logo. This is an image tag, and it says that it got the source from the images slash logo.png. Okay, there is some, yeah, there is some uh, this is, they have given only the source path uh, as an not an absolute path, but the relative path. Okay, so they have not given the absolute path, they have given only the relative path from where to pick up this particular image. And along with that, I think, yeah, so it has a title, and it has a name also. Okay, these are the properties that are associated with this actually. Okay, and if I go to this particular website, there is also something called as a broken image. And if you see, because I think source is not the missing source actually. Yeah, so basically it has an image tag. It also has a source, but this particular source, this particular path does not contain this image. Okay, that is why uh, the images are not shown here. Okay, and if I go and check this lambda test, this is also an again image, and this is a source. See, the source, they have given the absolute path from where to pick up this icon, lambda test icon. This is from this particular website. So I think we can copy paste this, go to another website, sorry, another web page. If I try to see this only gives me the icon. Okay, this is how these images are being loaded. If you don't give a proper path in source, then it will be shown as an broken image. Okay, labels. Labels are for the input, describe the input field, improving the accessibility. Labels, we cannot perform any actions of the label, we can only read this label. For example, here it makes your readability or it improves the accessibility. For example, here the make is a label, the engine performance is a label. Okay, you cannot do any actions, right? You can just click, but we can read this text from this web page. Okay, so if I go and click here, so it will always starts with the tag as label, and it will have other properties. Along with that, it will also have a text associated with that. Okay, that is how the label is being described. The list I already explained during the drop down. It basically displays the item. When I clicked, when I shown during the drop down, when I inspected this particular item list, the drop down, it was only showing me select and option items, right? As an web elements. If I go and see here, it shows me the the select and the option, select and option. But when I took you through the demo under lambda test for the, for example, for drop down, for example this one. So this is also a list which brings the predefined values, and I can basically select one or multiple of them. Okay, for example, I can select this one, I can select Arizona. But if I go and inspect this property, yeah, it will have the tag called UL, and under which there is LI also. Okay, with the list items. Okay, it says either UL or OL lists. Okay, or and under which there will be an item called LI. So let us go and see this, what exactly it gives. This is under span. We have, yeah, this is not the one. Yeah, let us go and search this one. Yeah, see, this is again under UL, there is an LI. Okay, so this is how that list been designed. Here you can select a single value or you can select the multiple value. So here I can only select a single value, but here I can select the multiple values. Okay. Tables, as you know, this will have the rows and columns. This is called as the rows. These are called as columns, right? These are called as columns. Okay. Table presented data in rows and columns, often used for a structured contents. Okay. This will have a tag called table. Let us go and examine this particular guy. And if you see, table will always starts with the table which has got a body. This is a complete body of the table, and then there is a tr. Okay, tr means for row. Under a row you will have the multiple columns. I think here 1 2 3 4 columns. We have 4 columns. 1 2 3 4 columns. This is how the element structure, the tree like structure of the table is being presented. Okay, this is mainly used for the structure data, structuring the data in the web page. Now comes a very important concept called as in frames and iframes. Frames or iframes allow embedding another HTML document within the current page. So there is a main HTML document that starts with the from the root as doc type, and then it has an the headers, and then it has an body. Under root there will be an HTML under which you will have an header and body. Okay, under this particular document we can have another document embedded. Okay, which is called as a frame, commonly used for advertisements, videos, and other embedded contents. So in if there is a frame inside the main web page, then it is very difficult to identify the elements within that frame. So we will have to, from the main the window, you'll have to go to that particular frame, and then we try to identify the elements within that. We need to do a switch to a particular frame, and then we need to identify the element. So whenever you see a frame, you will have to adapt these techniques to recognize the element within that frames. Okay, let us again go and search here. There should be an example for frame, iframe demo. If I see here, okay, if I, yeah, this is under the main page. Okay, this is under the main page. I think if I go here, see, again it starts. See, there is an iframe. Okay, so this is the main document. I have a document type here. Then I come to this particular section, right? If you see, it will start with an iframe, under which again there is an again a document tab, that is a document type HTML, under which there is an header and body. So inside the HTML page there is another HTML page. Okay, that is how the frames been designed, mainly to load the videos and and other contents, right? So in order to identify the elements within this another document, then you will have to switch yourself into this document. There is an basically Selenium provides a functionality called switch to a given iframe. So we basically will have to provide the properties of this iframe. This iframe has got an ID called as an iframe 1. I can give switch to this iframe with an ID as an iframe 1, then it basically comes to this particular document, and under which you can basically identify the elements under this iframe. Okay, that is how it basically works. Okay, and if you see here, this is, yeah, so these are all the scripts. Okay, under division there is a script. think content page. I thought this will be a text area. This is also a kind of an example for text area, but unfortunately it is not an text area here. Text area will have a property as text area, but here we can write a multiple text. Okay, my name is test test troop. Yeah, then again, yeah. So again, you can give a multiple lines here. Okay, this is how basically the iframe works. File uploads, certain times you may have to upload a files into your website. In such cases, we will be using the file upload kind of an controls. The file input fields allow the user to upload the files from their devices. Okay, let me check if I have something for file upload. I think upload file demo, yes, we have it. So if I choose this file, it will ask me to browse the file. Okay, and um, so in this, yeah, so this will also have an input type called file. Let us go and try to inspect this element. Yeah, if you see the input type, input tag with the type, attribute with the value as an file. Okay, this is how it is being designed. And certain cases you might have seen while uh, working with the website, there may be some error messages that is popped up. For example, if you put an username and password wrongly, it may bring out a kind of an pop-up telling that your username and password is not correct. Either username or a password is not correct. These are called as an models or a pop-ups. Pop-up. Let me see. We have a pop-up. For example, here. I think we have a window model pop-up. Yes. Multiple window pop-up model follow-up. Okay. Yeah. So when I go and inspect this, yeah, this is again taking as a reference. The next one is modals, pop-ups, or an alerts. So under this particular website, right? Under this particular website, we have an item called an alerts. So when you click on this, it basically brings up an window, right? And an alert window. Okay, this is called as an pop-up window basically. So this is coming from JavaScript. Okay, so this is also one kind of the element that may interest you. These are all some of the elements I wanted to explain you before we really jump on working with them. So we need to understand the properties of this element, why these elements are present, what is the functionality of these elements before even using them. Okay, hope now you got little bit of insight. What are the different commonly used elements that are present in the web page? Now let us try to understand the different type of actions that you can perform with the web element. Here I have put the consolidated list of actions that we can perform with the web element. So we will not go in detail, but we will try to understand each of these operations. The first category is the basic element operation, where you will be performing the click operation, the input text, clear text, and submitting the forms. Okay, click options, basically we will be doing it with the buttons or links or are there any other clickable items. Okay, input text is mainly used to fill the text box or the text areas. Clear the text, again associated with the text box or a text area, where you can clear the previous text and try to put a new text. Submitting a form, basically the usually done via the button click or by enter key press. Second category is form elements and the inputs. The select from the drop down. You can choose a particular item in a drop down menu or the list by using a text or by using a value or by the index. Okay, this operation we will do when we will try to perform some operations with the drop down and the list boxes. Check boxes, you can check and uncheck, select or unselect, right? Radio button, you can select a particular item. Third option is the read operation, text and element retrieval. You can use getText to retrieve the text of a particular web element. It can be from the label, or it can be the name of the drop box, or the items that is selected in the list and things like that. So you can use the getText method for that. Also, you can get the properties of a particular element, like its ID, its href, that is the reference, like source, etc., etc. Okay, you can also use the get attribute to get an attribute of a particular element. For example, if you want to check whether list box is checked or unchecked, you can use the property that is associated with the checkbox to find out whether the checkbox is in a select state or an unselected state, right? So you can also get a CSS property, which is also a kind of an attribute. Retrieve the CSS properties like color, font size, and which are basically used for styling. The fourth category is a browser navigation. We have already seen this, like opening a web page, then going to the next page, coming back to the previous page, that is forward and backward, refreshing a page, navigating to the new windows or new tabs. Okay, these are all the operations that we can perform with respect to a web page. The waiting for the synchronization, Selenium basically provides an implicit wait and explicit wait. Implicit wait sets a general wait for the elements to be available. Explicit wait is wait for a specific conditions. Okay, like the visibility of the element, then the selected state, different state of the element. Whether if in case of a checkbox, we can wait till the checkbox is checked or not. Okay, these are some of the visibility conditions, the presence of a text and things like that. We can wait till this specific condition occurs on the web element. Then we have advanced user interactions like the mouse hovers, the mouse and keyboard actions, right? Mouse hover, right click, double click, drag and drop, keyboard actions, the clear cache. Okay, these are all comes under the advanced user interactions. Using Selenium, we can also execute a JavaScript that is designed to perform certain actions. You can execute the JavaScript, run a custom JavaScript code within the page context. We can perform the scroll up, scroll down, or highlighting the specific elements and things like that using the JavaScript execution. We can also perform the screenshot capture, full page screenshot to capture the entire page for the visual checks, or an element screenshot capture the specific element which is focused at a which is focused at a given point in time. So capture option also we can use, which is one of the good options when the test case is basically failed. And if you want to see basically what happened during the failure, you can perform the screenshot capture operations basically. Cookies and session management, you can add and delete cookies via Selenium. You can also clear a cache. So Selenium provides a rich set of functionality to perform different kinds of operations, whatever I listed here, right? So all these operations can be performed using the Selenium. Selenium exposes a lot of methods to perform a different kind of operations on a web elements. Now let us discuss the different locators that is being used in Selenium. Okay, the locator strategy in Selenium is a method used to identify the web elements on a web page for the interaction within the automated test. So using these locators, we can identify the elements in a web page and perform or we can interact with these elements. Okay, such as uh, reading a text and performing the click action and things like that, right? Selenium provides several locator strategies that allows you to specify the exact web element that you want to interact with, enabling the actions like clicking, typing, or retrieving the text. Okay, so Choosing the right locator strategy is crucial for the test stability and reliability. So even though the Selenium exposes the lot of locators to identify a web element, choosing the locator is very important to have the stability and the reliability of your test script. Okay, so basically these are below are some of the locators, some of the locators. So below are the set of locators that Selenium uses to interact with the web elements. So I am going to explain only about ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, and partial link test in today's tutorial. The XPath and CSS relative locators I will take it up in the next video. Let us start with an ID. Okay, the locates the element by their unique ID attribute. Okay, so this is uh, basically Selenium uses an ID attribute to interact with the web element. Okay, let us go to a website, demo website, and see how to use an ID. As I already told you, in order to identify or in order to check the properties of a particular web elements in a web page, we need to inspect the web page. So right click on inspect. This brings down the tree-like structure of the web elements of a given web page. Then use the select tool and go to the item of your interest. For example, I want to perform certain operations on the automobile. I want to go and click this particular item. In, in this case, let us, I think it is, okay, let us remove this select tool. Let us remove the select tool and try to see. I can click here. I can perform a click operation, right? So if I want to click this automobile element using an ID, I will use the select tool. I'll go to here, and if I see this has an ID, so I can use nav automobile. Okay, I can use a nav automobile as an ID. If I want to interact this particular element using an ID, then in in robot framework, I have to use a syntax as ID colon the value that is stored in this ID attribute, that is called nav automobile. This is how we need to use it. Okay, um, let us go and try this from robot framework. Even before you go and try this ID from the robot framework, I want to suggest you some the plugins that you can use with your browser that can easily help you in identifying the web elements based on their ID or based on the class name, based on the tag name, or based on the name. They can basically help you in identifying these elements very easily. Okay, currently I am using a Chrome browser. I will go to Chrome extension, and from there you have to go to manage extension, and then you have the Chrome web store. From the Chrome web store, you can basically go and type XPath and see what it lists. And one of the best one that currently I am using is the selector hub. I already installed it. In case if you are not installed it, just go and click on the install button and then follow the steps to install this particular plugin. Once you install this plugin, you can basically see the plugin that is coming here. So you can use the plugin along with your web page. Okay, also remember one more thing, the plugins are not seen in an incognito from the incognito mode, right? I am using incognito mode. I don't see the plugins option here, right? Yeah, so when I try to click, see the plugin option, it will take me into the normal browser. So installing the plugins will only happen through the normal browser, not from the incognito mode. So what I have done, I have gone to my normal browser. I opened a browser, opened this particular website from a normal browser, not from the incognito mode. And then what I am doing, I will I will go to my, what I will do is I will also open my inspect. Along with that, I will also go to selector hub. Similar to the inspect, Chrome inspect tool, dev tool. This is also called as Chrome dev tool. You can see the select tool here. So the selector hub also has a select tool. You can click on the select tool and go to the item of your interest. Click on this, and if you see, he gives us lot of suggestions. Okay, our interest currently is about an ID. If you see, so the ID for this particular element is nav automobile, that you can also see from here. You can go here, and if you see, the ID is nav automobile. Now let us go to robot framework and try to use it. Try to launch this browser and try to perform a click action. Okay, before that, let us see what happens when I perform a click operation. It takes me into another page, right? Okay, so it takes me into another page. Let us see whether it goes to the other page or not. Okay, whether it performs the click operation or not. Okay, yeah, if I give this one, if I go to automobile, it comes to 7. Motorcycle is 8. You can see the number as 8. Camper is 9. Truck is also 9. Okay, so let us go to automobile, and you can see this number 7. Okay, so what we have to do, so from the we will launch the we will launch the browser. We will navigate to this particular website, right? We will navigate to this particular website, and then we will try to click automobile. Then we will see whether we are getting data 7 or not. Okay, this particular thing. Let us see whether there are any properties that are associated with this. Yes, you see, it has a span called counter, and this is with the class. Okay, we will use this later. Okay, let us, for a time being, let us not use this. When I teach about class, then we can use this particular item to identify it. Now let us only go and click this uh, this particular item. We can also do one thing. We can also try to get a text which is an automobile, and then we can compare, perform a comparison. Along with that, we will also try to click this particular operation. If you see here, I have opened the PyCharm, and I have settings section where I'm calling the Selenium library, because I will be using the keywords from Selenium library. So I'll have to include this library. I also created a test case section, and this is the name of your test case, and inside which I will be I am calling the open browser the keyword, and I am passing the address of the website that I want to open, and I also specifying the type of the browser I want to use for this particular test. I will be using the Chrome browser here. So, and after that, what I will do, once this is done, now I open the browser. The next task is to basically click that particular automotive button, right, or the automobile button. So I want to go and click this particular automobile button. Before that, I want to read this text and just want to compare, just to show you. So for that, I have to use Selenium library dot, I think it is get text. You have to pass the locator. Locator here is the ID. I have to use like this, and this will be returning me the text. So this will be returning me the string, right? So I have to store the value returned from this particular keyword into a variable. That is, I will use it as in a scalar variable. I will give the name as read text equals to the return from this particular keyword. Okay, now I should compare with, if you know the reference string that you are expecting, then you should use should should be equals to as string. Then I will use the read text as the first argument. Second argument, I'll come to the website and I'll basically take this, copy this text from here. Okay. Okay, once this is done, then what I will do, I will go and click this particular item, right? I will go and click the automobile. Okay, here I will go, sorry, here I will go and I will click this particular element. So for that, what should I do is I have to use Selenium library dot, I think it is click element. This is click element. I have to pass the locator. Again, the locator is the same, right? Once it is done, after this I will close my browser, close all the browser. Okay, since this is happening very quick, what I will do is I will put a breakpoint at each step, just to show you, just to for the testing purpose. Then I will try to execute in a debug mode. It has opened the browser. The one thing what we forgot is we forgot to maximize this browser, right? So I don't know whether now it will identify this element or not, because this particular element is not visible here. uh, okay, I will stop the text test now, and what I will do is I will do Selenium browser dot maximize the browser window. Okay, I'll try to again execute in a debug mode. Yeah, it has opened in a debug mode. Now what I will do, I will minimize this browser and I will do a step over. So now you see the red text. Okay, this is the text it read, and now let us do the uh, yeah. So if you see here, yeah, so if you see under the variable, you see red text has got a text called automobile. Okay, that is from this particular statement. This particular keyword has a get text has written the automobile. Now basically you are doing the comparison. That step is also passed. Now I am to go and try to click this element. If I, for example, if I open this, now nothing is there. Now let us see what it in the page. Nothing is there. It is the get quote and other elements are there. So what happens? Let us see when it clicks the automobile link. Now I'll go click here. It perform the click operation. Yeah, you see. So it has gone to this particular page with the identifier as 7. This is what we expect, right? This is what we expect. So it has come to this particular page. So the click operation is successful now. So now I'll close this browser. So what we can do after performing click operation, we can go on check whether it landed into this particular page by comparing the value 7. That we will also do it in the later stage. So for a time being, now we will close this browser. Okay, this is how Selenium identifies a particular web element using the ID locator. Using the ID locator. Hope you understood. Now let us understand the name locator. Similar to the ID locator, the name locator is also used to find the element using the name attribute, often used to used for form fields. Often it is used for the form fields, but it will be using an attribute called name. Let us go to this website, and here if I click on the motorcycle, okay, even before clicking the motorcycle, if I go to the motorcycle item, it has got an attribute called name, using which I can basically go and perform or and go and interact with this particular item. Okay, let us do this test now, and I have to use syntax instead of id. I have to use the syntax as name with this one. Okay, now let us go and do this. Okay, in the PyCharm I will use the same script. Where is my PyCharm? I will use the same script. Instead of this I will be using this one, and my this will vary because I'll be identifying the motorcycle as an object, and for the motorcycle object the text is, for the motorcycle object the text is motorcycle. This is what we expect, and then I'll perform a click operation. Then I will close all the browsers. Okay, so I think I have multiple browsers here. In order to not to get a confusion, I'll close all of them. Okay, so now what we will do, we'll change the browser. Okay, instead of Chrome we will use Internet Explorer, sorry, not IE, so we will use Edge. Okay, instead of Chrome I have typed here as an Edge. Let us go and run in a debug mode. Okay, if you see, it has opened the browser in a maximized mode. Now I'll minimize the browser for our just to go through this particular script. Then I will step over. It has read the text. If you see the variable section, it has read as motorcycle. Now we should pass. Now it has to perform a click operation. It has done the click operation. Let us go to the browser and see. This is not this browser. This should be an Edge browser. And if you see, this is an Edge browser that is currently being controlled by our script. And if you see, it has gone, it has clicked the motorcycle and gone to this particular page. Okay. Now I will close all the browser. This is how the name property is been used to identify an element in a web page. Now let us go to the locator class name. Selects an element by their class attribute. Okay, like an ID and name, it identifies an element using the class attribute, often used for locating the group of elements that share a common class. If you seen earlier, when we were using a list or a drop down item, so in case of a drop down item, we had a main tag as a select, under which we had multiple options, right? um, like option 1, option 2, option 3, like options, which which basically representing the pre-filled item within that drop down list. So in such cases, if you want to identify the entire drop down item, you can identify the parent item, you can identify via the class. Okay, especially used for identifying the group of element. And in our website, um, in this particular website, this the item called next, which has got an class name. Okay, so if I go and inspect here, and it says, and if I maximize it, it has a class attribute with the value as next button. And if I want to use it from robot framework, I will have to use like this with a class. Okay, so what I need to do here, first I need to go and click on a truck. Okay, click on a truck. that takes me to, or I click on a truck or a motorcycle. Let us click on a motorcycle because we already have a code. And then we go and click on a next button. What happens if I click a next button? Then I'll see a previous button. Okay, then there will be a previous button. So we can also see whether it has done a click correctly or not by identifying this particular element using the class name. Okay, the class name is prev here. Class name is prev. Let us try to give that as well. Class equals to this one. Okay, so let us try to do this. Write it in a script. Go to PyCharm. Up to here it is clear for us. Okay, and after this, what I am trying to do is I'll be using this, and then I will do a get text via the class attributor. Then after this, I'll again have to read text here, right? So I have to perform a click operation. So I'll take this, then I will perform the click operation. Once it performs the click operation, I will try to read that, right? I will try to read the previous item. Try to read the previous item, and the value of this previous text is prev in a capital, right? Okay, this is something like this. Oh, I don't know whether comparison will be possible or not. Let us try this. Okay, this is something like this. Okay, read text. Okay. So I'll put a breakpoint everywhere. What I'm doing, I'm launching a browser, maximizing the window. I am reading. I think this is not needed, but okay, anyhow, I am doing that. And after that, I am clicking the motorcycle button. Once it is done, then I will be reading the next button text. Okay, so basically, I am not comparing it. Let us take it out. I am not doing any actions here. Rather than I'll go and click on the next button. Okay, once I do it, the screen should go to screen should bring me a previous button as well. Okay, so then again what I will do, I will read a text and compare it whether the previous text has came there or not. Okay, so what I will do is I will go and execute in a debug mode. Yeah, browser is launched and it is maximized. I'll minimize that now. I will do a step over. I think this is fast. I'll try to click an element, motorcycle. It will take some time. If I go to the Edge browser, right, I'm using Edge browser, see the number, it has come 8 because motorcycle is pointing to 8. Now I'll try and go and click this next button. It performed that operation, I think so. Yeah, it failed. I got the root cause here. If you see the class name, the class attribute for this is next button, which is enclosed within a double quotes. Okay, since there is a space in between, while giving a locator, we should give it as, in case of robot framework, we need to give it as dot, in the dot operator. Dot operator basically tells you about the space actually. So now what we do is we go and run the script in a debug mode. Yeah, it has executed and maximized. Now let us do the step over, do the step over, do the step over. Yes. Now let us see whether it clicks or not. Yeah, if I come to Edge browser, it did click and it went to the this particular screen where we have a previous element. Now what it will do, read the it will try to read the previous element. See the red text we can check is prev is the same as what I gave here. Let us try to compare that. It is also passed. Now let us close this. Yeah, this is basically how it works, right? How the class works. So in case there are space, you make sure that you give a dot in between. Okay. After next, there is a space. That space will be covering by the dot operator. Okay, this is how it works. Now let us understand what is identification by a tag name. This locates an element by their tag name. So basically these are called as a tag. Body, div a, reference, sorry, div a, then image. These are all called tag name. So if I try to identify an element by name, by a tag name as a div, there are multiple elements in a tag name. So I will not be able to find an unique identifier. So you'll have to be very careful using the tag name. Where there is only an unique element, in such places you can use the tag name. And in our case, I think this there is only one image in this page as per my knowledge. So if I go to selector hub and try to give this tag name here, yeah, it says that one matching element. It completely scan the DOM structure of this particular web page and identified that there is one matching element. Let us go and click here, and if you see the tag name for that is img. So let us try to use this. Okay. Lucky that we got an example to try with the tag name. Let us go and try from PyCharm. And if you see, if you go and sorry, and if you select this one image, it has a, I think it has an ID, it has an title, it has a name, it has a class called logo. It doesn't have any text. I don't know what to compare. Okay, let us see whether this element is visible or not. Okay, only will go and check whether it is available or not. Okay, is exist or not. Okay, let us try to check such thing. What I will do is I will remove all of them. This is not needed. So we have a keyword called element should be visible. Element should be visible, and with the locator as we will be using a tag colon, the value for this tag is image, right? img. Let us go and check this. Yeah, this test case basically should pass. Okay, because we are only checking whether the element should be visible in a page. Okay. uh, okay, go and right click, debug, launch the browser. It has launched the browser. I'll minimize it, step over, think it passed, otherwise it will not would not have come to this particular statement. Now close the browser. It's taking some time. It is performing the check. You see, yeah, the tag name is displayed. So the test case got passed. This is how we can use the tag name. Now let us use a link test. Link text is used to find the hyperlinks. For example, if you see, this is an hyperlink, right? So, or this is an hyperlink. Let us go and search whether is this an hyperlink. And if I let us maximize this, go and select visit support. So there should be an H reference. Yes, there is an H reference. So this is a hyperlink. So what we can do is we can select by using the link text. The text of this particular link is this one. So we can use a visit support as a link text. Okay. And if I sorry, so let us close this. Let us open the selector hub again. Go and inspect this particular item. He says the tag name. Okay. He gave us a tag name but not the link text. Let us try to see how to use the link text. And I think the link text is visit support. Or is it a good example, or I can find a better example? This is also a link text. Yes, this is a good example actually. Okay. So within this particular container, so I have a link text. Okay. What happens? I go and click on the request demo. It will take me to another window. Okay. Let us see that whether that happens or not. Let's go get the property, and the link text is request demo. Let's try, is it zero element matching? Okay, let us try. Let us go and try. Okay. Let us go and try this visible, that is using a link link colon the request demo. Okay. And after that I will also try to click this button, basically dot click, sorry, dot click element, and I will use this as an locator for that. And let us see whether it basically takes us to a new page or not. Okay. A right click, debug. Yes, we have a browser now which is maximized. Step over, and this is passed. Okay, now let's try to click that element so that it will bring a new window. Yes, that is also done now. Let us go and see whether it is really done this. See, it has gone to the new page using the link test. Good. And now let us close this browser. Yeah, browser got closed. This is how basically we can use the link test. Okay, now let us go and check the another locator which is called as a partial link. So you will be passing the partial text. Now we passed the request demo. Let us pass the partial text and see whether it works or not. And let us use the same example. And instead of request demo, I'll give request D, but it should be a partial link, right? It should be a partial link. Instead of link, I have to use partial link. This is how we represent a partial link. Let us try and execute it. Yeah, browser maximized. Yes, it did it. I think it did it. Not this one. Sorry, not that one. Edge browser. So it did it with the partial text. Good. And now we'll close the browser. So you hope so I hope you understood all these locators, how to identify using ID, name, class name, tag, link, and partial text. And XPath and CSS are very big topics. I will try to cover in a upcoming session. That brings to the end of this video. In this video, we discussed about different types of web elements, basically the commonly used web elements like buttons, labels, the text areas, checkboxes, etc. And we also discussed about the type of operation that we can perform with the different web elements, right? Like clicking a button, filling a data into the input box, selecting a particular item from a drop-down box, and selecting a particular element in a table and things like that, right? We also use a different kind of locator that is supported in by the Selenium, and we discussed about how to use ID, class, and ID, name, class, tag name, link, partial link to interact with the web elements. We also done a little bit of the hands-on exercise to locate a particular element and perform the click operation with uh, with the links and with the buttons, right? So hope you enjoyed learning with me. In case if you find this video useful, please support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching.